Piers Morgan is here. Now, what is going on? This is just
Don't get me to try and make sense of it.
I need you to make sense.
Well, what is going on is, in simple terms, we're at the final stage of this election. Most of the states have now been decided, and we're down to a very small number of crucial swing states, the battleground states. And these are the ones that decide the Electoral College, which is how our new president gets elected. And really, it'll come down to one of three in the Midwest, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. If Joe Biden wins 2 out of those 3, he'll probably be president. If he doesn't, Trump will probably get re-elected. The odd thing about Trump's outburst is right now, Trump may still win the election legitimately, but he's decided to try and delegitimize millions of votes by saying, I don't think any more votes should be counted. Now, the reason he's doing that, people suspect, is that he's got information that many of the mail-in ballot votes, which people have sent in by the post, may be Democrats, and that may tip the election Joe Biden's way. So it's got very messy. I've said for weeks, I thought this would take days or weeks to unravel, and I think you're going to see an army of lawyers descending. You're going to see Trump go to the Supreme Court, and the whole thing is descending into complete chaos.
It's crazy. I mean, we know he doesn't like to lose, right? We know that. We know
he said it yesterday.
I know, and he'll do anything. But this is really dangerous. I mean,
I described it as an assault on American democracy from the man supposedly at the centre and the top of American democracy, because what Trump is really doing, he's trying to say, I've won, stop any more votes being counted, and let's move on. Well, he hasn't won. There are a number of states that haven't come back yet. He may or may not win those. And by doing what he's doing, you can imagine his supporters now buying into the idea that if he doesn't now win, somehow it's been stolen from him. And I saw and you'll appreciate what I'm about to say, the most worrying statistic I've seen in America in the last few days was that the FBI have done more background checks on new gun purchases this year, over 20 million, than they've done in recorded history. In other words, a fearful American public, whipped up by the pandemic, whipped up by the George Floyd protests, and now this election division, have all gone out and bought guns. And it doesn't take a genius to work out that if we start seeing civil unrest on the streets with a new heavily armed America, this could get very nasty.
Oh, it could get absolutely horrible. It's like another civil war, isn't it? It really is. So interesting, it's so close. And you do wonder, you know, if it hadn't been for COVID, whether or not he would have just had a landslide. I
think if you'd asked me in January, I wrote it in my book, you know, Wake Up. In the start of it, I say...
You got a book out?
Have I mentioned it?
Never mentioned it.
I don't think I've mentioned it. If you haven't bought it, if extraordinarily you haven't bought this book yet, it is available in all good books, actually, only for today, because they're all shutting down tomorrow. No, I think the thing about it is, in January, Trump was heading to easy re-election. The economy was going really well. On the foreign stage, he hadn't declared war anywhere. He was forging peace, not war. You know, he had a lot of good things going for him, which I think would have guaranteed re-election. And then the pandemic and the George Floyd incident happened, and both of those things he was found wanting. And he came over really as the worst kind of narcissistic, careless leader who didn't show any empathy for his people. So I think that I was expecting the polls to be correct and that Joe Biden would win. What's amazing, Lorraine, is the polls once again have been completely wrong.
Totally.
And we're now in a position where Trump may well get re-elected. It's going to be a real knife edge. I think it's because in the last 2 weeks, what's been the message? One has been showman Trump, these massive rallies, exuding energy, dancing to gay anthems by YMCA.
I don't think he knows.
Has anyone ever told him it's a gay anthem?
I don't think he knows.
But all
the village people are not happy with this song back.
But the funny thing is, he's exuded this extraordinary energy for a guy of 74. Biden, by contrast, there was that terrible video of Obama throwing the basketball from a three-pointer. And then you saw poor old Joe shuffling along behind him, looking like Sleepy Joe, as Trump calls him. And I think there's been a real difference in energies of the campaigns.
And these things count. They really do count. Interestingly, the Daily Star has actually called it, hasn't it? I love this.
I love
the front page of the Star is brilliant. It's so funny. It basically says, old fart wins election. But isn't it extraordinary that the Democrats only had, it came down to 3 old white men.
I mean, there was that moment, wasn't there, when they were down to 3. Michael Bloomberg, Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, all of them over 75, all of them white old dudes. And you think, really, you're the Progressive Democrat Party?
I know.
You sounded like the old Republicans of 50 years ago.
Where are the Kennedys or the Obamas or someone like that? The weird thing is he not allowed to say, whoever, say Trump does lose, he's allowed to stay in office until what, January?
Yeah, he remains in office until January the 20th when there's inauguration day. So he has limited powers. I mean, he's still president, and if America has to go to war or something, he'll be the one that makes that decision. And he has executive power to do executive orders. What they normally do in their last couple of months is they do sort of freedom for people in prison who are mates or whatever. So all that kind of nonsense goes on. But, you know, the truth is, this will take, I think, days, if not weeks now, to unravel. And that's going to throw the whole constitution of this into some form of crisis. Because if Trump simply refuses to accept defeat and his supporters believe he's been cheated, it's been stolen from him, I really fear there's going to be a lot of civil unrest. That's why what he's done today in the early hours from the White House is so reckless and irresponsible.
Yeah, and he's not going to go with dignity, I wouldn't have thought.
I don't think he will.
No, I don't, which is very sad. And I just wonder, if he does lose, whether the past 4 years are just a blip and everybody will forget about it, and then Joe Biden will be in and things will kind of go along as always. You know, will it just be, oh, gosh, that's a bit of an embarrassment, let's never speak of it again?
I think America's very fractured. But to be honest, I think we are here too.
So do I.
I think Brexit tore this country in two, and we've seen the same thing with Trump, although it was going on before. I was in America at CNN when Obama was president, and it was very toxic and polarised then. So I don't think it's just a Trump thing, but America is split down the middle, as we are here. And I think the one thing I would say about Biden, I had one conversation with Joe Biden, and it was after I wrote a column about his son, Beau, when he died. And I said that Beau Biden, who I knew well, was the best president America will now never know it could have had. Because he was a handsome, super bright, former State's Attorney General. He'd been an Iraq War hero. He was an amazing guy. And he died of a brain cancer in his 40s. And it really broke Joe Biden. And he rang me to thank me for this column, out of the blue. He's vice president. And I asked him then, because he'd lost his wife and baby daughter in a car crash. And Beau and Hunter, his two sons, survived the crash. And then he lost Beau as well. And I said to him, can I just ask you, I said, I'm a father of 4 kids. I can't imagine a worse thing in the world to lose a child. You've lost 2 children and you've lost your first wife. How do you deal with it? And he told me a very, very quick little thing. He said his father sent him, when his wife and baby daughter died, Hagar the Horrible cartoon strip. And it was in 2 parts. And one half had Hagar in a stormy ocean with his trident raised to the skies and thunder and lightning crashing, saying, why me? And the other half with a God shouting back, well, why not you? And he said he really was quite annoyed when he first got it. And then he began to realise what his father was saying. You can't rationalise tragedy like that. And if you do, you'll waste your life trying to make sense of it, and you just have to get on with it. And he said, it's still here on my desk when I read the column he wrote about Beau. And it was, what it showed me was what a decent man he is fundamentally.
Very much
and
so.
Also, he's got all the empathy that Trump doesn't have. And it may not get him over the line, but if we do end up with President Biden, he's a good man.
He is a good man. Gosh, it's going to be interesting the next 24 hours, the next couple of days.
I just think it's going to be wildly unpredictable.
Absolutely.
I don't think we'll hear, well, certainly won't hear by the end of, I mean, maybe Friday, I don't know, but
who knows?
Who knows?
The only predictable thing is it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
A bit like yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you, Piers.
All the best things in life are unpredictable.
They absolutely are. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
pleasure.
it. Don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Lorraine on the ITV Hub and all the best clips, compilations and playlists right here on our channel. Just subscribe now and you'll never miss an upload. Click here to watch another video similar to this one, or click here to head to our channel's homepage to explore all of our exciting videos.